I'm Alan Weiss, and this is The Writing on the Wall. Welcome back to The Writing on the Wall. This episode is demographics. We tend to think that long-term, almost existential changes aren't going to be felt day to day. You know, climate change. But there's a demographic change going on that we need to think about very carefully. In the United States and most Western countries, and in China and such places, morbidity is outpacing fertility. That means we're not replacing ourselves. Now, we had 2 children, my wife and I, and they each have 2 children. That's increasingly unusual. I'm not holding us up as the perfect way to do things, but it used to be fairly common. It's not anymore. So historically, the problem here is that plentiful labor accounted for wealth being created. People who could do manual labor, people who could do mental labor, what you would call blue collar and white collar, but you had to have a lot of people. And in the United States, for example, the Social Security system is like a stegosaurus. Even though population is declining, it's not declining so much among people who are receiving Social Security benefits, who are boomers or Gen this or Gen that. So when Social Security was enacted under the Roosevelt administration in the late 30s and 40s, there was something like 40 people working for every retired person. People retired at 65, they lived to 68. That was the average lifespan. Today, there are barely 2 people working for every retired person. And so the math no longer works. There are not enough people contributing to the system. And the average age today is 78. And when you hit 78, which I have, they give you another 8 or 9 years. And I'm forced to take Social Security. I cannot refuse it. I can give it away, of course, but I'm forced to take it from the government coffers. By 2030 or 2035 at the latest, there will be fewer children than there will be people over 50. That's unprecedented. And so we're going to see a shift in child care to elder care. And elder care, of course, is much more expensive. Geriatric medicine, taking care of people. Nor can we afford to just dismiss seniors as a huge retired class. We have to use their wisdom. Because with demographics changing like this, we have to make use of immigration and artificial intelligence and seniors. So this isn't a boomer issue. It's an issue for the generations immediately succeeding the boomers because they don't have enough savings. Boomers and their lifestyles were created by pension systems and Social Security and the Reagan-era IRAs and SEP IRAs and later the Roths. And so right now there's a huge intergenerational transfer of wealth going on, tens of trillions of dollars. But there's a housing shortage because boomers live in large houses with low mortgages. My mortgage is 2.8%. Why would I pay it off? And so they're not eager to move, to downsize even, and pay 7 or 8% in interest. So there's a shortage of inventory. The tropism toward college today is an artifact of the past, another stegosaurus. We need people who are experienced, we need people with certain credentials. We don't necessarily require people with college educations. I've mentioned before here that airlines are starting to hire pilots who don't have college educations. The important thing is that they have the aptitude and interest and skills and talents to take off, fly, and land planes, not whether they can discuss Schopenhauer or Nietzsche. So health investment in the Western world is going to significantly change. College tuition is going to continue to rise probably because there are going to be fewer students, but there's also going to have to be parent care. And so I was in a fortunate situation where I could take care of my kids and they graduated college with no debt. And my wife and I were in a fortunate situation where we could take care of both of our parents in their later years. And that was taken care of, but that's not going to be so easy for people anymore. So people paying off college debt who find that they have to help with their parents' debt, because after the boomer generation, there's not that significant an amount of savings in people's accounts. They've been negligent. They haven't been diligent in putting away the maximum they can every year. So you have the pressure of tuition for children, elder care for parents. So what's the solution? Well, the solution, I'll repeat again, is we have to make use of immigration, intelligent immigration policies, if that's not an oxymoron. We have to make intelligent use of artificial intelligence and stop being scared of it. And we have to make intelligent use of our senior population. I mean, here I am, I'm working for a living. I enjoy it, but there's no crime in that, right? So we have to realize that we can't put people down like we put pets down when they're in an end-stage illness. We can't put grandparents on an ice floe and send them out to sea. I understand that's probably a metaphor. Whether indigenous people do that or did that or not, I don't know. But we can't just flush people away. And so the myth of the ice floes is an interesting thing to keep in mind. Or perhaps if we find that we refuse or can't support and take care of an older and older and increasingly older generation, since we have no ice floes here, maybe we just put them out on the interstate.